Hello, I'm Rose and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I hope everyone is doing well. So sorry it's been a while. I ended up losing my camera card, which finally I found it. Pesky thing. I really need to duct tape it to myself. Anyway, today we're going to do something fun that you guys have been waiting for. We're going to do a Q&A video. So I just want to put out there are some political questions in here, which I decided to go ahead and answer. I am not a very political person, nor do I get into any of that typical drama. So fair warning, if I do see any mean-spirited or hateful comments, they will be unfortunately deleted, because that's just not how I want my page to be. Well, anyway, let's get started. So these questions come from Harjeet. I'm sorry if I say that wrong. First question is, how does Trump manage to stay in the news following his social media ban? Like I said, I never paid much attention to this, but interesting questions. So I did look up that some journalists and a lot of his supporters are on TikTok, and they basically, when they go to his rallies or his campaigns or anything like that, or whenever he does interviews, they take videos of those and they upload them a lot to that social media platform. That is one platform that he, I guess, is allowed to be on there still. He's not allowed on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And I do believe there's a few others, but I'm not 100% sure on those. He is working on building his own social media platform, but that will take some time. Okay, next question. How do his followers stay in touch with him? So I did some research. There is a website called 45office.com, and it pulls up an app called Reuters News. I hope I'm saying that right. From the looks of the site, you can contact him through there, and I guess they stay up to date through there, and that's all I found, honestly. Question number 3. What are the chances of Trump running in 2024? Who do you see winning? Well, that is hard to see. It's hard to predict the future, but I do believe he will return. There's a big possibility of him winning, but that all depends on his opponent as well. We don't know who is going to go up against him, or if he is going to even run in 2024, but guess we shall see, right? Number 4. Are you Republican or Democrat? I am personally independent, so I don't side with any particular party. I just cast my vote based on the issues and who sounds good about fixing those issues, or who's serious about fixing those issues. Question number 5. How do you feel when someone says Biden is the weakest president in the U.S. history? He's definitely weak. He's turned the country into a laughing stock, in my personal opinion. Is he the weakest? Now, that is hard to say. If you look at all of our presidents in the whole history, there are some pretty bad ones that I have read. And it's a long list. You guys should just check out weakest presidents in the U.S. Interesting take. Question 6. Would you like to see Kamala Harris as the first woman president? It might give women a boost of empowerment. I personally would not. There's just something about her that's off. She gives off this, I don't know, it's like a bad, no offense, evil vibe. I don't think she's the right person to boost women empowerment. She chose Bill Clinton to help her empower women. A man who degraded women for decades isn't the right person to empower women at all. All right, enough political stuff. Let's get to the fun stuff. This question is from Joy. Uh-oh. Computer does not want to go down. Okay, having been to India before, what are the things you want to see take in America? And what are the things you want to see or give to India? I thought this was fun. So the things that I want to take from India and incorporate in the US is learn to respect other religions and be open-minded. I've noticed that whenever I went there, it doesn't matter what religion you are, like you're welcomed in the temples there. You're welcome, like, just to be a part of it. They're not they won't shun you and say, no, because you're a different religion, I don't want anything to do with you. They will welcome you and include you into their religion, which is so nice. And it's just a wonderful experience. But over here, I've experienced, like, there's a lot of hate when someone speaks a different language here. And I've seen so many people where they're like, oh, you need to speak English, which is really ridiculous. I do think we are the only country that thinks we should just speak one language. If you look at all the other countries in the world, a lot of them speak multiple languages. Like I said, no offense, but that's just my personal opinion. I like the designs of the homes in India. So they are very strong. Most houses here are built of wood. So eventually over time the wood's gonna rot, something's gonna need replaced in it. I know the homes in India, like, there will be some minor, like, cracking, but nothing you can't repair to, like, simple repair. But when wood damages, oh boy, the whole structure might need refixed. Let's see here. Okay, so another thing that I would bring to the US would be combined families. I personally grew up in a toxic home and environment, and it wasn't very loving. So when I went to India and got to experience how much the families are there for you, I love that they live together or near. It's like a village. And when I went there, I got so overwhelmed by all the love at once that I cried a lot. When you grow up in an environment where you're not surrounded by a lot of love and support, you kind of get used to that. So when you do get that love and affection that you've always craved for a long time, all at once, it's very emotional. And I did not know how to handle that emotion. So I'm not a person that will cry in front of people. At that time I wasn't. So I would either hide my face and cry and walk away, or I would walk into another room and cry. And they didn't understand that, so my husband actually had to explain what was going on. So it was hard to process, but I was really happy. For me, it meant the world to me. I finally had a family that loved me. Even now, it's still emotional. I still have some difficulties here and there, but so much better than what it used to be. All right. So what I would take from the US and give to India. This one's a little tricky. So healthcare, what I mean by that is when someone doesn't have insurance here, even if you go to the ER, they are not going to deny you and say that we can't see you. They will go ahead and see you, but they will bill you, and it'll basically go into collections. And it'll remain there until you pay it off. But they still, even if you have that bill, you can still be seen regardless if you have an outstanding debt. Like, they're not gonna deny you care. So I would love to give that to India. But honestly, the crappy part there is it puts you into debt. Second thing would be education. I believe everyone deserves an education. Here, students who can't afford education get assistance so that they can attend. And I believe that would be helpful. Who knows, a child who's less fortunate could have a cure for a disease, and they may not get the chance to show their capabilities because they can't afford to attend school. Let's see here. This one is for the kiddos. So when I was in India, I noticed that most of the playgrounds, all they had was like a field, some like little climbing things, just in the areas that I personally seen, like the smaller villages, not like the big cities. Like for instance, Hyderabad, I've seen in the developed areas, they have like playgrounds, swing slides, all kinds of things. But if you go to the more smaller villages, they don't have much like that. So I would really like love to give those things to all the children. I can just imagine the joy and the smiles on their faces having that. All right. This question comes from Sanu. How did you first come in touch with India, and what was your experience? So I first came in touch with India when I met my husband. My first experience was going to a temple, and there was 11 people in this one van. And I was sadly the oddball out. So everybody was speaking Hindi, and I didn't understand anything. So I kind of felt left out, but it wasn't in like a bad way. Like I wished and hoped that I could understand in that sense. Like I never took it like personal, like, hey, you shouldn't speak that, I didn't do anything like that. Obviously I got more comfortable over time. I do know bits and pieces of Hindi now. Unfortunately, I don't know the full any language because we don't have someone here to keep speaking it on a daily basis. But when I was in India, there was people constantly talking in like Hindi or Telugu, and I ended up picking up like some words in that little month that I was there. So if I had that for like a whole year or two, I would definitely be speaking better than I do. Let's see. Oh. And I've also been fascinated with like the different languages. Like even in school, if I heard somebody like speak with a different accent or speak with a different language, I was like, oh, I wonder what they're saying. Like it's just fascinating. I also got to experience food and like the clothes in India, which are so beautiful. I remember putting on the first dress. I didn't want to put on a sari because I was very, what do you want to say, conservative about my body. I didn't want to show any portion of my skin. Even now, I'm still kind of like that. I do wear the saris, but not very often, only on occasions. Here comes the food. So I was very, very picky with food. So I wouldn't try much of anything new because in my family, we were constantly fed the same things over and over and over, and we were never introduced to new foods. So it was mainly fried foods, fast food, or junk food. That's pretty much all that we ate growing up. So it was hard to try anything else. I remember going on the first date with my husband. He's like, let's go for Chinese. I'm like, oh, I don't like Chinese. And he's like, well, let's go for Mexican. I'm like, oh, I don't like Mexican. And he listed all the cuisines, and I just kept saying, no, no, no. And he's like, okay, what will you eat? And I'm like, McDonald's fries. I'm like, just thinking back on that, like how I used to be is so amazing. Like I can't believe how much I've changed. I went from someone that was so picky to now I cook 80% Indian food. I'll try other cuisines, and I'm still picky on certain things, but I'm not as picky. Here's a funny story. So 10 years ago is when I started getting introduced to spicy foods. Whew, I almost died. So I had to have a glass of milk on the side while eating the spicy food. Like it was so delicious, but my mouth was burning. But I needed something to hinder that spice because I was sweating. Definitely clears your sinuses. But now, 10 years later, I can handle that spice to a point. But I can handle it pretty good. Like I can eat green chilies and people just look at me like I'm weird. But I really enjoy how the culture brings everyone together. It's like one big family, and I love that so much. I still have so much to learn. Alright, next question comes from Hans. When will you come to Sri Lanka? That is unknown at this time, but I would love to go there and have that experience. Alright, next question is from Goddess and You. Do you have Indian friends? Of course I do. Next question. Do you know, sorry if I say these wrong because they're a little hard, ISKCON Srila Prabhupada Hare Krishna movement. Have you visited any ISKCON temple? If so, what was your impression? So I've heard of these movements, but I don't know much about them. I do know it's a religious organization with temples that are established in India and also is here as well, and all over the world. There is an ISKCON temple in Boston, but I haven't been there, but hopefully one day I'll get to check it out. Apparently I have been to an ISKCON temple. I didn't know that until I started talking with my husband about it. We went to one in Chicago, Illinois. And I remember it being very beautiful, very detailed. It had a very nice garden, and it had kind of like a pond. I don't know what it would be. They would really call it. I would call it like not a pond, but like it had a rectangle shape and a bunch of water, basically. A fountain. There we go. Fountain. That's what it was. And like I said, it was beautiful. It was breathtaking. And one thing I liked about it is before you go into the temple, you have to wash your feet and you cannot wear your shoes in there in respect of the gods. I really like that. I think that should be incorporated into all like churches or like religious buildings, like out of respect. Not only does it show respect to the gods, it keeps the place cleanly, and I think that's fantastic. I've only been to 4 temples, so I've been to the one in Chicago, I've been to 2 in New York, but I don't remember their names. And then the one we got married in was the Sri Lakshmi temple here. So that's all the temples that I have been in personally. Let's see here. But yeah, I like that. And my last and final question. When is your birthday? January 11th. So I just turned 29, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was so fun. And I hope everyone's having a blessed day and blessed week. I will be uploading more content this week now that I have my card back. Can't believe I lost that thing. And this won't be the last time I lose it. I need more backups. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day. And until next time, bye guys.